Use my tripod. Use my tripod.
Let's go a little bit more. Luis. Just Luis. Yeah, there you go. It's rolling. Camera's rolling. We're all here. Good to go. All right. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of the Bull City Pioneers podcast. My name is Hector.
My name is Luis.
And today we have another guest yet again. We got
Zone.
Zone?
Yeah, Zone.
So,
That's the name you go by.
That's the name.
Okay. Zone. I like that.
Plus, appreciation.
Really appreciate you coming on this episode, man. We're gonna have a good time with this one.
awesome, man. And he's one of our listeners on the podcast, so
yeah,
you know I fucks with him.
I be listening.
I fucks with
I
him
be
big
listening.
time.
I be listening.
So,
Really appreciate the love.
It's all good.
So, you want to kind of give us like a background of like where you're from, what you do, and stuff like that, so that way the
Gotcha.
audience knows what it is that where you come from.
Got you. So, I'm from Durham, North Carolina. I was born here. Well, actually, no, I was born in Philly. Yeah, I was born in Philly. Moved here. And, I mean, you know, I make music. I mean, that's all there is really to. I've been making music for 6 years. Yeah, 6 years.
Wow.
6 years. I started making music with my bros. We have a group called Chosen Ones. And we've been since 6 years we've been together. We've been making music and shit. And my parents are both musicians. Both my mom and my dad played piano, organ.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so I was kind of born into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got no choice but to make music. Real talk.
Love it.
what was the spark into using your voice? I know that you said your parents are musicians. They play instruments, but when did you start using your voice
As an instrument.
As an instrument? Yeah.
Right, exactly. I did start out playing. I played like hella instruments. Real talk. I started with playing the drums because that's the first thing you need to know how to play is drums. Then I played violin. Then I played cello. Then I played bass. And then I played alto sax, which was my last.
Arsenal of fucking instruments.
Yeah.
I'm trying to learn how to play piano right
That's
now.
dope, man.
But yeah, I started using my voice. Real talk. What happened was, I think it was either 6th or 7th grade. I had already been writing a little bit because I mean I just like writing, you know. And I think it was poetry. And sixth,
okay.
I used to write poetry. And then 6th and 7th grade, I had I was in history, world history with Miss McLeod.
Hey, I remember her. Yeah.
They go to the same
went to the
we
same
actually
school.
all three went to the same.
Yeah.
That's right. Hey, fuck you.
Hey.
But yeah, I was in Miss McLeod's class and we had a project and it was I literally forget what the project was, but like literally anytime you have a project and you can do a song, you might as well just do a song. And so I did a song, and the dudes that I'm working with now, who's in Chosen, we were all in the same class.
So that's like the startup.
Yeah, that's how it started. We were all in the same class, and me and my bro Marcus Savo, that's his rap name. We had a project, and then other two dudes, Jeremiah and there's two Jeremiahs.
Yeah.
Well, there's one, but he's not in the group anymore, unfortunately. But yeah, there was two Jeremiahs, and then there was a dude named Robert, and they had a song. And we decided, you know, we don't really know them like that, but we might as well, if they got songs, so we might as well, you know, collaborate. And that's when we made our first. That's a big ass. That's a big ass bug. That's a big ass bug. But yeah, we just decided to, you know, combine the songs, and we just made a big ass song. That was our first song. It was called Change. You know, it was a kind of woke song, you know, Black Lives Matter type song, that type of stuff. And you know, we performed it to Miss McLeod, and she loved it. Like, she absolutely loved it. And she was like, you know what? Y'all should perform this for Winter Assembly. So we did.
She suggested it?
Yeah, she suggested that we perform it for Winter Assembly. So she herself went to the principal and asked her if we could perform it on Winter Assembly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we ended up going up on Winter Assembly performing, and everybody loved the crowd, cheering and
That's
everything.
awesome, man.
It was crazy, bro.
Must have felt good, huh?
Yeah, some shit, yeah. And like, you know, when you're on stage like that, and when you perform, that was like my first time actually like performing. You know what I mean? And when you like perform and like you get a reaction from the crowd like that, it just lets you know, like you know, like that's
makes you want to continue and work harder.
Like my purpose is like to be on stage.
Yeah.
You know? And like that's pretty much where it started.
Awesome. Do your parents like sing as well, or like use their voice, or is it just like piano?
Well, my mom, she plays organ at my church.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And she's like like, what's the word I'm looking for? course. She's like a master musician. Like she does the organ, but she also coordinates like choir.
Music coordinator.
Yeah, music
okay.
coordinates. She
Okay.
coordinates choir. She like gets people like on tunes. She gives people music. She tells them how to sing this certain part. So like she does all over. So yeah, she sings, but like she's not like somebody that considers herself a singer. You know what I mean? Like she just sings in order to get somebody on note. But yeah, my dad, he don't sing though. I don't think I've ever heard him sing. No, I don't think I heard him sing.
You should just catch him off guard one day.
Yeah, one day you'll be like, hey, let me hear something right quick.
Let me hear
Like,
something right quick.
Facts, yeah.
Right.
But yeah, no, I'm like the only one. My sister sings a little bit, but she don't like to sing. But she don't consider herself a singer. It's hot as fuck out here.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
I'm sweating.
Yeah,
I'm
it's hot,
sweating,
bro.
bro. I'm sweating.
It's hot out here, bro.
Yo.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel you.
well, yeah, it's fire, man.
Yeah,
You know, I wrote down a couple questions for
Most
you.
def.
First question is, I think we've already talked about this behind the cameras, but what are the next moves for you to expand the exposure of your music and name as an
My name.
artist?
So
Zone.
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 Yeah, facts. So I'm on SoundCloud, and you know, it's nice to be on SoundCloud because
Want to do
people
the quick
can.
plug-in?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Zone,
Yeah.
Zone on SoundCloud. Top track is No Love by
Just Zone?
no,
Z-O-N-E?
Just Zone. Yeah, it's just
Zone.
Zone. But yeah, it's a little hard to find me, but it won't be soon. You feel me? But yeah, I'm on SoundCloud, and it's nice to be on SoundCloud because you know you can put stuff up there, people listen to it, oh they like it. But you know when you're an artist and like you're trying to get your name actually out there, you got to go to
You gotta perform.
Yeah, you got to perform, and you got to go to like bigger platforms like Spotify, like I don't really touch Spinrilla, but Spinrilla and Apple Music, you know, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
music. Oh yeah.
And you know SoundMax, stuff like that. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get my stuff posted in different areas, different
Yeah.
places instead of just SoundCloud because I mean people like to associate me with a SoundCloud rapper. Like every time I tell somebody, hey, I make music, I'm on SoundCloud, they'd be like, oh, that's a SoundCloud rapper. He's
Yeah, underdogs.
Yeah, they
basically.
like facts.
yeah.
So that's how it be. And yeah, so that and performances.
Performances are big, dude.
Yeah, performances are big because that's how you really like
That's how you really touch people.
yeah, for real. That's how you put a face to a voice. You know, people look at you. Oh, that's his own. Like I remember I just did a performance like recently. I was at Eddie Fest with my friend Ned. He asked me to perform. Eddie Fest was in remembrance of his dad who passed away. He committed suicide because of mental illness. And that was very sad and unfortunate. But he created Eddie Fest. Yeah, facts. He created Eddie Fest, in remembrance of him, like memorial. And it was dope. It was a dope thing. And we performed up. Me and Jam, who's in Chosen Ones, we performed up there, and it was dope. And like anytime you perform, it's like you're interacting with the crowd. Like you're exchanging.
You're in a
energy.
different zone.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly. In a different zone. You feel me? But yeah, anytime you're like performing, it's just a great experience. And like performing is great. I need to start doing more performances to be real, and start like getting myself out there. But yeah.
Another plug. If you want
Oh yeah.
Zone to perform,
Let me know.
anywhere.
Let me know. I'm free. I'm a nice
Hey.
dude. I'll do it if you want me to.
There
like,
you
for
go.
real.
Yeah, man.
Birthday
That's how you
parties,
gotta do it at the beginning,
anything,
still like for free
anything.
and stuff like
Yeah,
that. That's
facts,
how you
yeah.
get it up there.
Oh yeah, you do stuff
But,
for free at first, and then you just
But I was gonna say something real
Yeah.
quick. and I
Yeah,
forgot.
we can move
It's all
on to
good,
the
yeah.
next question.
It's all good.
Next question. In the new generation of content creators, do you think content creating is a form of coping with mental illnesses or a form of portraying it to the world? In other words, what is your opinion on the relationship between mental illnesses and content creating?
You go off of that and like put them together. Is that like you gain inspiration from that stuff?
I mean, well, to be real, I think that. Do you feel like just music or art in general?
Art in general.
Art in general? Yeah, I mean, well, art can be. People can, use art in many different ways. I feel like mental illness is one of the ways, like to cope with mental illness, depression, any type of other disorder, stuff like that. They may use art to cope with that. They may, find that as a way of escape from that, burden, I guess.
Yeah.
And there's other ways, maybe to like represent a situation that they may be going through, maybe like a breakup, maybe like, parents divorcing, something like that. Black Lives Matter, they may use it like that to, what's the word I'm looking for? Portray. Portray. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but yeah, it's like they use art to, as a voice to, represent their situation. It could be for mental illness. It could be just a bunch of other, like, that's the great thing about art in general. Not even just music, just art.
Yeah.
It's a way to, voice your opinion, how you feel about certain things.
In the 21st century, art is what guides big movements. So Black Lives Matter, art, is a big movement maker for that movement, And music, since we're talking about music, since you're an artist in music, you give out your opinion in your songs, and I listen to them, and heck yeah. Hey man, you give out a lot of, what's the word, emotion. It's very
realness.
Realness. There you go. Like, you're about to hear some real facts when this man starts speaking, which is awesome. Yeah.
That's how I try. That's what you try to do.
Where do you get like your inspiration for your music? What is the process of like you putting bars down on a page? Like what goes through your mind when you're like thinking of a song? Like what gets you in the mood to write?
There's many different processes when I make music, real talk, because like I said, like certain situations may make me write a song about it, like maybe like I said, a breakup. I have been broken up with many times, it's sad to say, but yeah.
Hey,
I appreciate
we got that in common. We got that in common.
But yeah, I may write a song about that. I may write a song about another situation, or I may just feel like, I'm chilling one day, maybe I feel like writing a song about what I'm feeling that day, how I, what I want to do, what I aspire to do, stuff like that. And sometimes I just write a song and then I listen to it maybe a month later, and I actually realize what the song is about. There's stuff like that happens. Yeah, there's stuff like that happens all the time to me. Like I may write a song, post it, and a month later I listen back to the song and I'll be like, oh, this was about that situation. I didn't even realize it. You know what I mean?
Wow.
That's right.
It's like you were kind of like venting out that emotion and you didn't even realize it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's just a stress reliever. It's like art.
Now, when you write it, do you usually get the lyrics down first, or do you make your own beats?
I make my own beats sometimes. I don't know what it is with me. Like I make beats. I do. And I feel like I make pretty good beats. But the thing is, it's like sometimes I just get lazy.
No, yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta just realize like it might not be like the thing that you're better at. It might just be like the actual lyricism that you're good at, or the beat making. It's either or, and it's also a good thing if you're good at both.
Yeah,
like, you just gotta realize like where it is that you're standing.
I'm trying to be a versatile artist.
And you always gotta take the knowledge in as well. So.
Facts. That's how it is.
Yeah.
But when I do make a beat, I always make the beat first. I always write after. I don't know. Like, I never write first for some reason. I don't know what it is. I should try to do that one time, maybe work out or something. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I always find the beat, make the beat first, then I write after.
Okay. All right, just one cut. Let's cut this in the video, but I just want to make sure that it's out.
Yeah. I was about to say that too.
I feel like it stopped for some reason.
Was that click?
Yeah, that click. I heard that click.
20 minutes. Yeah.
We already recorded 20 minutes?
We recorded 20 minutes and then it stopped for some reason.
Oh really?
Yeah, it was just weird.
That was 20 minutes.
At least you could hear it though. Like on mine, you couldn't hear it.
And we're starting back over again. 20 minutes. That's good.
Were we centered?
Damn.
Huh?
Yeah, it's
centered.
Yeah, let me make sure. Let's move on to the next question. Who are some people you wouldn't be able to do this without?
Sheesh.
Or are you a one man
I already
team?
mentioned that.
I already mentioned a few people.
Yeah, you are right. Yeah.
Well, one, my bros, of course, my chosen ones. Shout out chosen ones. Savo, Jam, and Young RJ. I don't know why I don't mention them that much, but Young RJ, that's one of my big bros. All of them, I wouldn't be able to do it without them. Real talk, because that's what I started with. You feel me? And I wouldn't be able to do this without all my fans that support me now, that follow me on SoundCloud. Y'all give me the inspiration to do what it is that I'm trying to do, which is make music, make art. And I appreciate my fans for taking my art for what it is and accepting it. You know what I mean? And my mom listens to my music too. She likes
Shout out
it.
to mom.
Shout out to mom.
She listens to my music too. It's dope. And yeah, just my family in general. They all listen to my music. Like, all of my family listens to my music. They always ask. Like, people at my church too. I don't know why people at my church listen to my music. But people at my church are like, oh yeah, I listen to that one song. I even go to youth conventions. I be out in just recently I was in Charlotte, which was I was in Charlotte, and people like was up there talking about, oh yeah, I listen to your music. I made connections up there too.
That's
People
awesome.
gave me my number.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's always a good thing. It always feels good when you like
Exactly.
meet someone you knew. And stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Exactly.
Link out. That's how you make it, man. You gotta link out.
Facts, you gotta get connections.
Yeah.
Connections is how everything works. When you know the right person, you can get
Oh
anywhere.
yeah, right person, right situation.
Facts.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
A question just came up, but I'll leave that one for later because it's a little more juicy.
All right.
Juicy.
All right.
Juicy.
Juicy.
Okay.
All right.
I think I just started a trend. All right. What are some of your future long-term goals in the music industry?
Wow.
Because we all know, artists they get big, they get rich. They buy a Lamborghini, they buy a big house for their mom. But like, what are some unique goals that you have for the future? Not only financially, but
It's okay to be selfish with this one.
Yeah. You can be selfish, but maybe like morally or emotionally or mentally.
Right. Well, to be real, I'm a person that don't really give a fuck about money. And I mean, it's not. This is what I'll say. I need money.
Yeah.
You need money. I don't like, and I do want money, but I'm not gonna treat money as something that's like, like
Always over your head.
yeah, like always, like I'm not gonna like flaunt money. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna try to use money like in a benefit, like a way that makes me look like money is what represents me.
Yeah. Which a lot of rappers and artists portray themselves as in this society.
Right.
When you're chasing a dream, sometimes money shouldn't be a factor in it, because then you get mixed up in the money and you actually lose the love or the passion that you have for that one thing. For you, it's music.
It's just the truth.
Yeah.
I
mean, just like, I don't know about y'all, but like when J. Cole, when he was coming up, he wasn't thinking about money. He was thinking about the music,
Well, real talk. Well, hold on. We're gonna get into it.
Wait, I might be wrong.
He's got some juicy stuff there.
Because low-key, I may be wrong too. But J. Cole started with money. He started as that person, that regular rapper, like, oh, I got money, all that shit. But then he transferred into the like mental state of where I don't need money like that.
Yeah.
Money is not, not something that should be representing me like that. And I'm not gonna say like J. Cole was always like the top nigga with money like that. Obviously he wants money too.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna say that like he didn't always. Facts. Yeah. But long term goals. Let me get back to that. Long term, I do want to buy my mom a big house.
Yeah.
Low key. Everybody. I got you. You gotta take care of my
For sure.
You gotta take care of I'm trying to take care of my family. I'll give money back to my church. Give money back to like all
community.
Community. Real
Awesome.
talk.
Yeah.
Cause like I be driving around sometimes. I'm not gonna be that nigga that be like, oh, I want to give back to the community, all that. But I be driving around sometimes and I be seeing like. Where I live, I'm not gonna lie, I live in like the suburbs. I live in like a really good neighborhood. But when I drive around in like the poor neighborhoods, I'm like, damn, bro, like.
Yeah, give back.
Yeah, you gotta give back. Like you see all these people, like they're doing what they do because they don't have it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
They gotta do what they need to do to get by.
Exactly.
And when you say like give back to the community, I believe him. I believe you, because what I don't like to compare. I'm just like, it's crazy because this dude is real humble, and like other people, artists, rappers today, they say they give back to the community, but all they really do is like they buy the chains, they buy the cars, and then they drive around the neighborhoods that they used to live in, like the big hood. But they don't really give back into the community. They
that's what all they
flaunt.
The most they do, and this is something that I hate about today's rapper generation or some shit like that. When they say they give back to the community, all they really do is take themselves going up to a homeless person like, hey, here's some money, dude. Like if you're really trying to give back to the community.
Boot guy? Wasn't the guy who? Boot gang? What was his name?
Boot gang? Are you talking about? I know you're talking about. You're talking about the nigga that steals shit, right?
Yeah.
And that's stupid too. That nigga got famous off of stealing shit.
There you go.
What type of shit is that? But he
ended up in the hospital multiple times.
All he does is tape himself giving back to the community and being like, oh yeah, Boonk a nice person.
So he tapes himself this one time giving some money to some kids at school, tossing it in the air, but these other times he's taking stuff from other people.
Right.
There you go.
And I'm not gonna say that he's not a good person because he does that. He has his own judgment of how he does stuff. and like he may be doing that from the actual goodness of his heart, and he's not trying to, like, you know, flaunt or like trying to paint himself as a good person. He may actually be trying to do that, but at the same time, it's hard to believe that when you see everybody doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to look on Instagram and I see a nigga like, oh, here's some money, and everybody in the comments like, oh my god, that nigga's so great. I'm like, bro, there's actually people. Did you know Akon? I can't remember how much he gave, but he gave like a bunch of money to Africa, and they just got all their power back. And like charity organizations have been doing that for like I don't know how long, and they barely been able to make a crack.
Barely any recognition.
Barely, like, and Akon, like, he did it without like telling nobody, hey, I'm doing this shit. Like, he didn't tell nobody, hey, I'm doing this. He was just like, hey, it's done. And it was done. And like, you know, charity organizations, have been doing this shit.
People could have have done that.
Yeah, exactly. And he did that. He's just the rapper, or he's just a singer. He's just an artist, and he just did that. But charity organizations, hella, like 40 multiple charity organizations have been working on that for like the longest, but they haven't made an impact. It's crazy.
And next question. Oh, that's done with the kind of like scripted version of it. Now we can actually just
jump in.
To the juicy
What was that
stuff.
juicy one?
So in Durham, we have a lot of artists. There has been an overflow in artists.